I'm going to show you exhibit number 382. Does that look familiar to you?
Absolutely, yes, sir.
And how is it familiar to you?
It's familiar based on the excavation process of what we located, the white extension cord tied a knot around the decedent's neck.
During the excavation process, you mentioned socks. Did you find any footwear of any type?
Not to my recollection, no, sir.
We heard from Sergeant, you know who Sergeant Avila is?
I do.
Who is he in relation to you in this investigation?
He was my partner on the homicide team that we were assigned to at the stage of the body recovery and whatnot. He was assigned to oversee the excavation of grade B while I did oversight of grade A.
Did you have an opportunity while out at the scene, strike that, we heard from Sergeant Avila about the documentation of some, I'm going to use the term loosely, tire impressions in the dirt area near grave A and B. Were you shown those?
I was.
Okay. Did you happen to examine those and get familiar with them?
I did.
So we heard from Sergeant Avila the approximate measurements of each and their location to grave A and B. What I want to ask you is something different, which is when you're looking at it in the context of the scene, what was significant to you about them?
Based on the layout of the tire impressions, it appeared that the soil at the time that they were caused would have been soft because they sank down below ground level. At the time when we drove out there, the scene was dry and there wasn't a noticeable depression in the ground like there was when we examined the tire impressions that we believe backed up to both graves.
So is depression a better word than impression?
I would say so, yeah, because it's something that's pushed down into the ground.
Based on that observation and opinion, did you do any research about weather conditions on or near February 4th, 2010?
We did.
And what did you find?
We learned that at the time.
Here's that foundation.
Sustained.
So we'll return to that later. During the excavation of the gravesite, was any other material besides that appeared to be wrapped around the remains located in grave A?
We located the victim's fingernails down on the bottom of the grave, the tire straps, the tie down, the electrical cord, the blanket, and then the victim's clothing.
Okay. Was there any towel-like or material located around the gravesite A, at least within a reasonable distance?
It was visible around the area.
And would that have been documented by Ms. Radliff as well?
Yes, sir.
I have nothing further. Thank you.
Cross.
Yes, sir. Detective or Sergeant?
Sorry, sir.
Sergeant Bachman. Who worked with you on grade A? Do you remember?
There were a handful of different folks on both days.
Did Becky Burnell work with you on the 12th?
I believe that was one of the folks that was assigned on the first day of execution, November 12th.
Mike Shea
Yes, sir.
and Janine Rondon?
Yes, sir.
You guys measured the grave at some point when you were completed?
We did.
And it was 7'1". Does that sound about right?
I think it was 71 inches.
Now, council showed you the picture of the soil depression before the excavation started.
Yes, sir.
That depression was measured in 3 different locations, was it not?
It was.
And you remember those measurements?
I think it was approximately toward the north end was roughly 3 inches. I think at the center, the way my report reads is, at the center it was roughly 4 inches, and then and the south end, I believe, was 6 inches.
The next day, on the 13th, when you went back, the team was able to make more progress, obviously uncovering who ended up being Joseph McStay, correct?
That's correct.
And we saw some of the pictures for that.
Yes, sir.
Now, you talked about the body was wrapped in a cloth woven blanket,
Correct.
and that's how you described it in your report multiple times. It was a cloth woven blanket, correct?
Yes, sir.
And the cord that was wrapped around, say, Joseph McStay's neck,
Yes, sir.
does that cord connect to the same cord that can be seen around the waist area?
It did.
And the cord around the neck, it was tied on the outside of the blanket, correct?
I would have to look at photos to say for certain, sir.
Well, let's go back to 382, I think you were shown. Does that refresh your memory?
It appears likely that it would be on the outside, sir.
And confirm on 755, while the body is still in the ground.
Yes, sir.
So when you testified at the preliminary hearing that it was underneath the blanket, that would be an error?
Likely, sir, yes.
Now, there's mention of the tire impressions or depressions leading up to both grades A and B. Do you remember that part of the discussion?
Yes, sir.
Now, those tire depressions, they were measured at some point, were they not?
They were.
And were you present when they were measured?
I believe I was, yes.
And who, was Heatherly Ratliff involved in the measurement of those tire impressions?
I would say yes, because I believe I remember her taking overall photographs of the tape measure while the measurements were taken.
And were you involved in the measurement of those tire depressions going to both grades?
Yes, I would have been present while that was taking place.
And did you agree with the measurements, how they're being done, like the placement of the tape measure ends and the determination of the width?
Agreed, how so?
Like you didn't say, no, that's not right, that's not right. Were you agreeing with what everybody was kind of seeing?
I think based off of that, we were trying to take an approximate measurement. There was no tread pattern that was visible at that point. So we were trying to just take an overall approximate measurement of the actual depressions and stuff.
I understand, but did you state any objection to the process to which it was done or the determinations that were made?
I don't believe so, no, sir.
Thank you. Nothing further.
Anything else?
Briefly. You testified, isn't it true on direct, that the cord was tied in a knot behind the neck, right?
I don't know if I said behind, but I said around the neck.
Around the neck, okay. So you were asked if it was visible from the front, but you were shown, or over the blanket, right?
Correct.
And you were showing exhibit number, back to 382 that you'd seen before.
Correct.
So I'm going to show you exhibit number 380 and 381. You recognize those two?
Yes, sir. That would have been photographs basically when the woven blanket or whatnot was removed from the decedent's face.
Was that before or after the cord was taken off?
That I don't recall, sir.
Okay. These pictures of the body is still in the body bag, correct?
That's correct.
I'm projecting is that 380? that's on the screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you see the cord there in its condition as it sits in the body bag?
I cannot.
In 382, there's a close-up. Can you see the cord as it's depicted there is still in the body bag?
No, I can't, sir.
So the cord was not removed at the scene before being put in the body bag, correct?
Not to my knowledge, no.
So at least viewed from the front, is it fair to say that you could say that the blanket woven material shown in 380 and 381 is concealing the cord?
I think that would be a fair statement.
Now, the,
I'd object as the foundation has established that the cord's still on the body bag.
Overruled. Next one.
back to 382 that I showed you previously, is that cord still on the body?
It appears so, sir. It appears that photo's at the coroner's office.
And how would you know that?
I could see I've done multiple autopsies in my time at homicide detail, and based on the background there, it appears that it's taken, with the stainless steel stuff in the background there, it appears that it's at the coroner's office.
Lastly, you were asked about the nature of the method of measuring the tire depressions. Start using your word. Due to their condition, was there a way to get a precise measurement on each of them?
I don't know that you would have got anything precise, because it appeared that the tire depressions weren't, like I said, fresh. It appeared that they had been there for some time. We couldn't see any tread pattern, and then so we just, like I said, tried to get an approximate measurement of wheelbase. We got measurements from the outside of the tires as well as the inside of the tires.
In your opinion, based on what you were observing and how the measurements were taken, do you believe they were precise?
I think they were as precise as we could get at that time, yes, sir.
Precise as given the conditions.
Correct.
Did the depressions have any sharp edges to the dirt on the outside? Or did it appear to have been worn down?
It appeared that it was worn down. They'd been there for some time.
Thank you. Nothing further.
Anything else?
Just one issue. On exhibit 380, which is currently on the screen,
No, it's not. That's 382.
on my screen. You want to hold up on yours?
Yeah, my computer will let me.
There we go.
There you go.
382, what do you see behind the body bag?
Looks like it was taken at the coroner's office as well, sir.
Okay, nothing further.
Anything else?
No, sir. Thank you.
You have exhibits 181 and 183.
He may still have them.
I can pull them up, Connor.
I need the hard copies.
I think he would have
I
them.
don't think you showed him those.
Oh,
I don't know if you can answer this question or not, but I'm going to ask anyways.
I can show
I have 183.
181 is actually better,
You want the better one? Okay, I'll get you 181.
I think,
But he wants the one written on.
Oh, yes. One right
yeah, which one's that?
This is 181, Your Honor.
Yeah. On showing you exhibit 181, you recognize the general scene that's shown there?
I do, sir.
Are you able to indicate the approximate location where the graves were on that photograph?
I believe based on looking at it, the graves, as you can see the wash that goes down through this part right here, they would have been right on the other side of the wash.
So I'm going to ask you to take the photograph out, and if you have a marking pen, just to put the letter G in the I understand it's approximate.
Yes, sir.
Just to give us an approximate location. We'll give you a marking pen that'll mark on the
I'm
photograph.
also, the court asked, I'm bringing 183, also the one that Sergeant Avila,
I don't know if you could do it on that one. That one's a little bit more distant.
for perspective.
You said letter G, correct, sir?
Correct. Okay, and you put a very small g. Okay, that's fine.
I apologize.
Thank you, on Exhibit 181. And can you do that on 183 also, or is that just too far of a distancing shot to be able to do that?
Actually, this is from the opposite perspective on this side.
I think that's correct.
Yeah, so that would be over, I believe it would be in this
Okay,
area right here.
good. Take it out of
It
the
is.
plastic. Okay, and then again, just put a small letter G to indicate the approximate location of the grave. Thank you. And if you could publish those two with the markings on them?
Yes, sir. And since the court couldn't wait till the next witness, I'm gonna, if I may, ask him another question with another exhibit to clarify the process of elimination.
Sure.
Okay. Showing exhibit 181, Your Honor. So we're gonna get it out of the. Oh, this, we need the overlay, Mr. Jackson.
And we have 181 shown on the screen, and maybe you can use the laser pointer to point to the G that you wrote in to indicate the approximate location of the grave.
The G would be right here, and my assessment of where I believe the graves were at was based off, you can see the wash that I spoke of that runs down in this area right here. So the graves were right on the other side of the wash,
Okay.
so it's in that general area.
Yeah, just general area,
Yes.
exactly. And then you want to put 183 up. And same thing, we have the letter G. As you indicated, this is showing a view from the opposite direction
That's correct, sir. So the freeway would actually be down over in this area.
in the bottom of the photograph.
Correct. And the landfill's over here is noted on there. Our command post, when we pulled up, was over here, so the graves would have been up in this area right here where and the wash runs right alongside where they're at.
Where the letter G is, and
Correct,
the
sir.
command post is designated as CP.
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good, thank you. Anything else, Mr. Hines?
I'm gonna, if I may show him one other exhibit, to provide even further context a little
Sure.
bit. 185. Please recognize that.
I do.
Is that the wash?
That's correct, sir.
Mr. Jackson, if I can have my computer, please. Thank you. Oops. So is that the correct picture being shown?
Yes, sir. So this would be the wash that's coming up along here. You can see our personnel right here where we're processing the grave in this area. So you can actually, if Mr. Rhymes zooms in, you can see the graves. There's one, this would be grave B right here, and then grave A, where I work, would be right here.
Do you still have my marking pin up there?
I don't.
If I can have you on 185. And actually, it may be helpful to use a more fine pen if you want. Can you mark an A and a B? Or can you see it on there without a magnifying glass? There's a screen next to you here if it helps. Oh, don't put it back in.
Oh.
Did you write that on there for me? I'll take this off. These are expensive at 25 cents a piece. Mr. Jackson, we go back to. Can you point your A and B on there since it was done in a finer pen?
Yes, sir. So grade A would be right here. That's the grade that I processed there. Grade B is right here. And that's what Sergeant Avila processed.
Thank you. I have nothing further.
Anything else?
No, you're right.
Any objection to Sergeant Bachman being excused?
Subject to recall, please.
Obviously subject to recall. Thank you for your attendance, and you are excused from the courthouse. I assume if they need you for anything else, they know where to find you.
Yes, sir.
And make sure you leave all the exhibits.
Yes, sir.
All right. It's just about 12, so we'll go ahead and take our new recess at this time till 1:30 this afternoon. Keep in mind the admonitions previously given to you, not to form or express any opinions about the case, not to discuss the case. And we'll see everyone back at 1:30.